Well, this is going to be fun. I had started this video, I was 18 minutes in, and I forgot to silence my phone. I usually make sure everything, no distractions. But I got, the phone rang and I just lost it. And what to do? So far I haven't learned how if I could splice two videos together. Understand, I use the one provided by YouTube, which is sufficient for most of my needs. Mostly I need to trim a little off the end. But to put two together is a little more sophisticated. And again, I'm doing these to share. I'm doing these so that I can go back and look at them too as well. So I've worked with lighting a little bit, not too satisfactory, I know. I got sound, I got a lavalier microphone that I think is adequate, but I'm not, at this point at least, maybe it'll change, I'm not that interested in all the subtleties of editing and how I could make things better. A good friend just told me that shorten them. Might be a good idea, and maybe that's in the future. I just want to take this opportunity to say that I'm geared towards 33 minutes of sharing. This 33, my number, my reoccurring soul path number. 33, and so they've just been in 33-minute increments. Now this is going to be interesting because I didn't do the math. 18 minutes in, and I want to get 33, so 15 more minutes, 15 and 18? Yeah, 15 more minutes. So this segment has to be 15 minutes there, give or take. Anyway, this is an opportunity for me to see if I can get it back together, because usually I'm on a run and it's just kind of spontaneous, it just flows. But I'll rehash a little bit. I was documenting a change, an evolutionary spiritual change. Something I was experiencing, that was something that was unflowering. And adding to my awareness, expanding my awareness, giving me new tools. And these happen from time to time. They're a gift, and they're never, in my experience, they haven't been particularly a pleasant. None of this is la la land, Om la 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 la. None of that is change. Maybe because I'm change resistant. I don't know. I accept change, but it's just something, it's a work in progress, let me put it that way. So I talked about, way back in April 25th, I was feeling this boundless love, this giving love, and it was kind of it came from empathy, being empathetic for all those that are going through this virus and suffering in general. It comes from empathy. And the love was just this self-perpetuating, endless, channeled love. And then I was quiet all the way until May 21st. And that's dark skies, when I could see the storm approaching. And by storm I mean the time of change. Something, the unstoppable, just as the storm approaches, something unstoppable. And it was, the skies got dark. And I was caught up in that for a little while. And then I talked about, it seemed to me that I was going from open up, it was time to withdraw again and come within. And I talked about awakened selfishness. And then I morphed into how it was no longer necessary to here, no matter how spiritual, how glorified, how special these words were from others, that I no longer needed them. It was time to stand up and be a man of my words. And I was just in the process of talking about sitting by a river. This is after I said there's no longer necessary to listen to anyone about anything, at least in the spiritual realm, in the spiritual sense. Changing, morphing from a seeker of wisdom to a giver of wisdom, I guess. That feels okay. That's the first time I voiced that. Now maybe it's good that I had an interruption and I came back. Everything is for a reason. So, this able to separate, seemingly to separate. Of course, we talked about. I was getting into the impossibility, but all in the idea of looking for that elusive clarity. But was just in the process of celebrating my equanimity. And I got tested because I had a call. And I had to cut that little end off because it wasn't my highest, my most shining moment. Clearly irritated by the fact that the phone interrupted my flow, just as I was talking about equanimity. So that's a funny reminder. More work is necessary, obviously. I really didn't know how I could just keep going and just quiet the phone without. And again, I'm not a high-tech person. I got my phone sitting there and I don't know. Anyway, it's pretty funny. But I was talking about a gift that I got, this ability to witness, this ability to see life, to take a step away from life. I saw as the silence that was the silence that gifted one with clarity. It wasn't about taming, quieting, shutting up the monkey mind. It was about separating oneself 100% from all of this. There I was on the side of the riverbank, watching, witnessing, just simply being. And the gift that took me a few days to understand because I was wrapped up in how do you separate? How do you get away from we're involved in life and how can we separate ourselves? But just this understanding of watching, witnessing without involvement, without emotional attachment, without an intellectual attachment. Watching, without judgment, watching, without expectations. The timelessness of this experience, how that time was a gift, that I was in a timeless realm, a selfless realm, a mindless realm. And then 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, however I sat on it, I saw that this is the clarity that I mistaken was gifted by quiet in the mind. So all of this leads me to, and I wanted to say one thing about clarity that I read someplace. This is when I was still reading. And it's meaningful here. Clarity will come to you only when you're not contaminated by memory or memories. And that's the separation. I wasn't contaminated or clouded or obscured from this separation. A separation that was in no sense of separation, right? The fact that I could watch life uninvolved, uncommitted. This and the throes of this metamorphosis, this change that I've been going through, it's obvious to me as I'm sitting here looking at you, or looking at myself, imagining you, is that this is clarity. This process that I've been going through is bringing me to a clarity. And even as I speak these words, and I intend to speak, I intend to keep speaking, I intend to keep using words, even though what I was motivated here was that words lead to action. This was what this video was supposed to be all about. Words lead to action, unavoidably, with consequences. But my choice, through this time of silence and separation, this witnessing life go by as a river, as I sat on the riverbank, this was wordless. And there was no action. So now I'm understanding. I'm getting an inkling of what this transformation, this interregnum is for me. That it's clarity is the absence of words. Because words inevitably, unmistakably lead to actions. So the clarity comes from inaction, the opposite of words. And the irony is not lost on me as I'm using words to try to explain the state of mind that 60 years of meditative practice, almost 60 years of meditative practice has brought me to the doorstep. And at the same time, I know that I have, I can't do the math, but I'm going to do 333 of these 33-minute videos. And after I'm done with them, maybe the world will bring an editor to me. Maybe they'll have some help because in editing, and I can start doing shorter programs. But until that day, Laissez-le.